so this is Brett. And so I'll just start off with, hi, nice to meet you too. Do you have any hobbies or interests you'd like to share with the class?
I don't really have I'm on the men's volleyball team, so that's probably the most prevalent hobby of my life, I guess. Not really sure it's a hobby anymore. It's kind of a job with the amount of time I put into it. I don't really have time for much else, but when I do have free time, I think reading is probably my favorite. Try to read a book a week at least, but it's more for the brain, not for anything else.
Right, so how long have you been playing volleyball at the college for?
This is my second year going into the college, and it's like my third or I guess fourth playing volleyball like competitively, so I haven't been at it for that long really.
Right, what position do you play during?
Middle.
And what do you like about playing middle?
I actually hate middle, to be honest. It's the hardest job in volleyball. We jump the most, we have the most responsibilities, and we get the least amount of credit. And we also look like an idiot sometimes because of other people.
All right. What do you mean? Like you're made to look like an idiot? Like.
Well, if I'm what's called closing, so if my outside setter is here and I'm going outside, their job is to jump into me to like close the seam so the ball can't get through. What happens normally though is they float away, and we're here, and the ball goes between us, and everybody looks at me because I didn't close the block, and I look like a jerk basically.
All right. And you said you like to read. What kind of books do you read?
I'll read anything. Lately I've been into medieval Japanese novels. A book called Musashi. It's about a famous samurai. Him, and I like biographies. So like Chuck Klosterman. Vonnegut is still probably my favorite writer though, but he does a wide variety of things.
All right, so you said you read biographies. Do you have a favorite one so far?
Jonathan Ames would be my favorite. He's kind of a satire writer. Talks about how he hit puberty at 16 often, and also had some run-ins with crabs, not the ocean kind.
All right, so since you seem to like history and biographies and stuff, do you have a favorite time in history or anything you've learned from it?
I think historically the best times were probably in the 14 or 1500s after the Renaissance, when religion kind of phased out and everybody was more worried about science and the better of humanity, I guess, would be the best way to look at it.
All right, so would you consider yourself more of a sciencey person?
I actually hate science. Literature, I'm more of an English social kind of person. The math part of science has never clicked in my brain. So.
Other than the math part of science, what do you hate about it?
It's a deep question. Probably just like the restrictiveness in formulas in chemistry or physics. With literature you have room to do what feels right. There is no feeling equations unless you can prove them wrong. There is a definite answer, there is not an answer. So I don't like how constrictive they feel.
All right, so since you're playing on the men's volleyball team, what are you taking at the college?
I'm taking the General Studies, Physical Education, and Leadership program.
Very nice. What do you like most about the physical education and leadership program?
Kind of keeps me in the sports aspect of things. I don't think it's going to be for me for the rest of my life though, but for now, I'm here to play volleyball in all honesty, so I took a program that has a lot of credits that'll transfer to a university after which.
Where do you see yourself in 10 years from now?
If everything settles in Europe, I'd like to be playing pro somewhere in Europe for a few years, just because the opportunity, if it's there, is kind of a once-in-a-lifetime thing. There's always more time in life to go to school, but my body will only last for so long. Teaching English or social, probably. If the pro thing doesn't pan out, those are
And you mentioned playing pro in Europe. Where would you like to play in Europe?
I would take a contract anywhere. Probably the money's in Russia, but I wouldn't go play in Russia because Russia's not a super great place to be right now. Probably Switzerland, Sweden, Denmark have great leagues. You get paid less, but typically all your expenses are paid for because they have so many sponsors that you just make straight money and play a game for a living.
Nice. So since you want to go to Europe, does that mean you want to travel?
I want to travel, but right now with the dedication it takes to play sports competitively, I haven't, and money as well. First place I'd probably go is Japan though, because culturally I think they're still a little bit ahead of the world in terms of knowing their culture and embracing it. It's also the most expensive place to travel typically. So like Thailand would be fun, but you need to dedicate really 2 months of time to actually see all of it.
All right. So I'm getting the signal that that's the end of the interview. So thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you very much. Pleasure.